Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we're going to dive into this really powerful image from the daily scriptures, the compassionate shepherd. And we're going to see how this figure can actually be a guide for our own lives right now. So, let me just ask you this. Do you ever feel spiritually scattered? You know that feeling like you're being pulled in a million different directions, and you're just wishing for one clear, reliable voice to help you cut through all the noise of daily life? Well, if you've ever felt that way, you're not alone. And today's scriptures, they offer exactly that kind of guidance. They introduce us to this incredible figure, Christ, the compassionate shepherd, who really hears us, who wants to heal us, and who gives us the very direction we're looking for. So our journey today is going to be guided by the Mass readings for the Saturday of the first week of Advent. And this right here is where we first get to hear the compassionate shepherd's call. We're going to start way back in the Old Testament with the prophet Isaiah, and I want you to notice something really cool here. God's promises, they start with these very real, tangible things. Rain for your crops, good bread from the land. But then they pivot and get deeply personal. He promises your own eyes will see your teacher, and that you'll hear a voice right behind you saying, "This is the way, walk in it." That's a promise of incredibly intimate, personal guidance. All right, so you've got these ancient promises of nourishment and clear direction. Now, let's fast forward to the gospel and see how this all gets paid off, how these promises are fulfilled. And here is the key, the one big idea that ties everything together. The compassionate shepherd comes near. This whole message isn't about some distant, far-off God. It's about a God who intentionally, purposefully draws close to his people. This lays it out so perfectly. You can see the direct line. On the left, you've got Isaiah's promises. On the right, you see Christ's fulfillment. Isaiah promised rain. Jesus says, "I am the living water." Isaiah promised bread. Jesus becomes the bread of life. And that unbelievable promise of a teacher who will show you the way, Jesus fulfills it perfectly when he declares, "I am the way, the truth, and the life." It's just, wow. But here's the thing. This isn't just a neat historical fact, right? It's not just promise made, promise kept. This fulfillment actually launches a mission of mercy that starts with Jesus, goes to his followers, and that call echoes all the way down to us today. So, the Gospel of Matthew sets the scene. Jesus looks out at the crowds, and he doesn't just see a faceless mass of people. He sees individuals. He sees people who are troubled and abandoned, who are lost, like sheep without a shepherd. He sees their exhaustion, their confusion, their pain. And what he feels for them is so much deeper than just pity. The original Greek word used in the text here is fascinating. It's splagnizomai. It describes this visceral, gut-level compassion. It's a feeling that starts deep in your core and literally compels you to do something about it. It's this powerful, almost physical empathy. And that powerful compassion, it's not just a feeling. It immediately translates into this clear three-part mission for his disciples. First, tell people the good news. Second, don't just talk about it, show it through your actions. Bring healing and wholeness to the world. And third, and this is crucial, your motivation has to be pure. Without cost you have received, without cost you are to give. This whole thing is meant to be a mission of selfless generosity. Okay, so that's all great for the disciples back then. But what about us? How are we supposed to live this out? Well, for a really powerful example of this mission in action, let's look at a saint whose feast we often celebrate right around this Advent season. And that saint, of course, is Nicholas of Myra. Now, we might know him from all the Christmas legends, but the real man was a bishop known for defending the faith. Yeah, but even more for his incredible charity and these famous acts of hidden, secret generosity. And this is the critical point. Saint Nicholas is the perfect example because he lived that command to give without cost. His secret gift-giving, it was a direct response to the needs he saw around him. And he did it all without any expectation of getting a thank you or recognition or anything back. He truly embodied that selfless generosity. Okay, so we've seen the promise, we've seen the fulfillment, we've seen the mission, and we've seen a powerful example. Now, what about you? Let's distill all of this down into one concrete action for your life today. When it's all said and done, it all comes down to this. One act of compassion. That's it. That's the challenge. Just look for one person in your life today who seems weary or troubled or maybe a little abandoned and show them a small act of mercy. It could be just a listening ear, a kind word, a simple helping hand. It doesn't have to be some grand gesture. And when you do this, you're not just doing a good deed, you're actually actively answering the shepherd's call. You become one of those compassionate laborers in the Lord's harvest, bringing his healing presence to someone who just desperately needs it. So let's just close with a moment of reflection, and we can ask for the grace to actually live this out. Saint Nicholas, faithful servant of Christ, help us to give generously, love humbly, and see the needs of others with the eyes of Jesus. Amen.